When it comes to the development of devices, there are two main approaches. The first is used when creating a new technology or a new device with a special mechanism and is based on how it can be useful in the medical field. It is used when so-called startups, especially in the US, enter the field of developing new medical devices with all kinds of new ideas. This approach is commonly used in the US. However, as you may know, it is said that 99% of the devices developed under this approach do not become widely used medical devices. In other words, 99% of this effort is wasted. Only 1% develops something useful in the end. It is that kind of probability, I think. This approach does have its benefits. For example, there are about 10,000 medical engineers in Silicon Valley. That is, 10,000 people working on devices that will not ultimately become a product. 99% of the engineers are working that way. This is, in effect, a waste. It's a waste, but we have to maintain those numbers in order to have the 1% who are successful. In other words, we do not get success without that level of waste. We need the people to support it. I mean, 99% of the engineers at one startup will, of course, disappear to another company and start on something new. This is repeated over and over, and in the process, the engineers interact with one another, and the technology is mixed and stirred. This is how innovation is born. But it does mean that 99% of the money invested is wasted. That is one of the reasons why medical devices are so expensive. Then there is another different approach. This pattern is one in which technology is developed based on demand. With this approach, success is, in one sense, guaranteed. In other words, developing products based on demand when people say, "I need something like this," means that the product will be used if it can be produced. In that sense, it's highly efficient. Japan is very good at making things better, making them a bit more convenient. That is one approach to development, and I don't think it is a matter of which is better or worse. But what is critical with this approach is, for example, when it comes to CTO, how well you understand what CTO is all about. Without a clear understanding of what is needed to make true progress in CTO treatment, simply creating a device that is a little better is not going to be a medical advancement. The device developed will vary greatly depending on the developer's goals. For physicians and engineers who want to start developing devices, the ultimate goal, the true goal, has to be higher quality treatment, so it is important that they have a solid understanding of the nature of treatment. In the early days of developing the miracle wire, we understood CTO, but looking back now, our understanding of the mechanisms of wire behavior was very immature, which is why we were only able to develop a wire of that standard. Considering our history of development, I believe by clearly understanding the nature of the subject and the essential characteristics of the mechanism, it directly impacts if a new device can help to advance medical treatment. I think it is very important for people who are interested in developing medical devices to keep this in mind. I find the typical Japanese way of developing products that are a bit easier and more convenient, but nothing more, a bit sad. When it comes to physicians and manufacturers collaborating on the development of devices, there is very little foundation for this in Japan. I think it is uniquely characteristic of Japanese society that there is an extremely strong feeling among physicians, particularly the older generation, that they have a unique mission. Japan has a universal healthcare system, right? So, medical care is considered a public service, and physicians' mission is to serve our patients. It is very good that we are passionate about this mission, and I think this is why it is accepted by everyone. However, this sense of mission also, conversely, leads to a sense that doctors are special. And why is that an obstacle? Because from the physician's point of view, manufacturers are simply working for their own profit. We see ourselves as working for the public good, and we tend to view manufacturers as in a different realm from this perspective. This has had a massive impact, leading to the lack of collaboration in developing devices that we see today. However, if you look at the younger generation of doctors today, that mindset, which I do think is a good thing, and the mindset that goes with it, is fading in a sense. There's much less of an impression that doctors are something special, which creates an extremely good environment for collaboration with manufacturers. Unfortunately, in terms of Japanese-style device development, manufacturers don't have information regarding, for example, what CTO is or what features the device needs in order to function. The only one who can provide that information is the physician. So without the collaboration between both parties, it is impossible to develop these devices. That is why momentum is building to grow the medical device field, and the key to doing this is collaboration. I think there needs to be more discussion about the best form for collaboration to take. I myself have collaborated with Asahi Intech on the development of their devices, and in the process I have learned a great deal from their engineers, and what I learn inspires more ideas on my part. So without this kind of interactive relationship, it is very difficult to understand the idea behind the devices or their true nature. These devices are not something that can be developed by physicians alone, so I feel that this collaboration between physicians and engineers is extremely important. A major leap forward, CTO wires represent a milestone in medical treatment. Only the collaborative relationships between doctors and device manufacturers working together to share highly specialized expertise could have led to this new device, giving doctors a new promising tool to treat CTO lesions with PCI, which previously had limited treatment. Partnerships between doctors and device manufacturers focused on the challenges of true medical progress will guide the future of CTO treatment.